Beautiful. We was on mute. Good Tuesday evening to you. It's the big guy KG. Welcome to another edition of the Sideline Junkies. Tuesday night flight. Sitting in solo for now. For now. Uh, the Midnight Rider will be in shortly, and we'll get into all of this. Nothing real heavy, just some things, some thoughts is on the mind. Uh, First off, I didn't get a chance to get to this on Sunday, so I want to get to it now. There's a petition going around saying says it has 25,000 signatures to change the Commander's name back to the Redskins. And I get the sentiment. I get all of it. I get it that, you want the nostalgia. You want everything to go back to the way it once was. To say in part, I got beef. Here's why I have beef. We are in a different realm. Now, a lot of people outside of the DC area don't feel that the name Redskins is offensive. A lot of people in the DC area don't feel it's offensive. I never felt it was offensive. And I remember when they did the straw polls and all that, and get everybody together and we're going to talk about this and we're going to do all of this, right? Well, it came down the pike, it's offensive, okay? Everybody thinking, well, I'm not going to support the team because of the name. I can understand you're not supporting the team because of Daniel Snyder. I've heard people say, I'm not giving my money to this team until Snyder's gone. Snyder's gone. So, come on back home. But to say you're not going to support the team because of a name change. Now, don't get me wrong. Football team had to grow on me, as well as Commanders had to grow on me. One of the reasons that I'm in big support of keeping the Commanders name, we got a rallying cry. And I don't want to lose that momentum, that feeling, being able to go anywhere in the country and say left hand up and somebody going to shout out, who are we? Commanders. Like that right there. That alone. That right there. We got a rallying cry, man. We got an identity. Not saying that we didn't have an identity as football team. I used to call us the Arya Stark of the NFL because we were a team that had no name. And for those that don't get that, that's a Game of Thrones reference. A girl has no name. And what did she do? She wound up saving the day anyway. So, but as Redskins, yes, we had an identity. 5-time world champions, countless playoff victories and Super Bowl memories and things like that, right? And I kind of feel like we should build something new with this Commanders thing. Like it's such overwhelming. Of course, you're gonna have overwhelming support to change the name back to Redskins. However, you got to think about what comes along with their territory. It's going to be the protests, the marches, all of that. Do we really want to go back down that road? See, that's the part nobody's talking about. The Native Americans that were offended by the name Redskins. It's like you're saying, well, it's not offensive, so we're going to use it anyway. That's basically what you're saying. You're basically slapping them in the face. Now, it may not be offensive to us, but it's offensive to them. Okay, let's play the respect role and say, all right, if you find that offensive, I got you. How would you like, no matter what your race is, how would you like if somebody use a derogatory term for whatever your race is, as a sports team name, you say it offends you, but you got a whole fan base like it's not offensive. We're gonna use it anyway. We gonna see. We doing too much right now. Let's get through the sale of this team. Let's get through training camp, preseason. Let's get through a season under new ownership where things are already looking brighter. Let's get through that before we start trying to go back and say, all right, well, we're going to rename the team the Redskins. Let's not. Let's leave that alone right now. We got too many pots on the stove cooking, and something's going to boil over, something's going to burn. This is not even an issue, but so many people are making it an issue. And that's your opinion. I get it. However, let it go. For right now, just let it go. Take it off the stove. Let's talk about building a winner. Let's talk about getting back to our winning ways before we talk about getting back to the Redskins name. Okay? Just my thoughts. Opening the show, sitting in solo. Tuesday Night Flight, presented by the Sideline Junkies. So, first up, I just wanted to address this, and I'll get the Midnight Rider. If I have to loop back, I'll give him a chance to get in on this as well. Mark Jackson has been released, per se, fired, if you will, by ESPN. So now that's Van Gundy, that's Mark Jackson. Who sits in with Mike Breen now? And they've become one of the top, if not the top, three-man boosts in the NBA. Like, how do you break that up? Who makes that decision and says, you know what? Ratings were high. You know, people watch these broadcasts, but they weren't high enough. Let's shake this up. Let's fire Van Gundy. Okay, let's fire Mark Jackson. What? I sent the Midnight Rider a text the other day, and I was asking him if he remember Matt Guokas. Matt Guokas, Marv Albert, and Steve Snapper Jones. I didn't think that an NBA game could be called any better than them three right there. And then they were bringing Fratello as well. Fratello will work sometimes too, but Snapper and Albert, I never thought it could get any better. Mark Jackson's his eye for the game. Mike Breen with the bang. Jeff Van Gundy with his eye for the game. You got two former coaches and a great play-by-play man right there. Why break that up? You know, hand down, man down. Mama, there goes that man. Like, it writes itself. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Doris Burke. I love Doris Burke to infinity. I do. I love to hear her on the sidelines. I love to hear her on the call as well, doing color. Would I take her over Van Gundy or Mark Jackson? No. I love to have her with them. But I'm not going to put her over them. But I don't know what ESPN's doing. I really don't. It's starting to scare me, you know, because a lot of our favorites are being let go. And it's for the lack of a better term, it's baffling why you would break up probably one of the best three-man boosts in the NBA on TV. So, I mean, if we went on radio, Kevin Harlan, Hubie Brown, and hell, you can stick anybody with them, but Kevin Harlan and Hubie Brown, you know, Kevin Harlan on the call, that's something totally different. That's a different thing for me. So, moving right along, we'll jump back to this when the Midnight Rider joins. But question of the night. What tarnishes a legacy? Now, I asked this question because there's always talk about Kobe's legacy, LeBron, MJ, Bird, Magic, Kareem, Wilt, Russell, all the greats talk about their legacy, right? And it doesn't matter. I'm just saying NBA. Now, if we get in the NFL, you talk about Jerry Rice. We've talked about Namath on this show. You talk about Montana, Brady, Randy Moss. Hockey, you talk about Gordie Howe, Ovechkin, Crosby, Gretzky, Steve Walchuk if you want. Baseball, we talk about Jeter, Babe Ruth. We were talking about Nolan Ryan off air a couple days ago. So you talk about all these greats, and everybody I named is a great. So I asked what tarnishes a legacy, because everybody brings up certain things when you talk legacy. And when they talk legacy, it's always, well, LeBron's not this high on my list because he did this. And Dr. J gave out his, I believe it was his top 10. And LeBron wasn't in. He said LeBron ring chase, so he had him at 15 behind Scottie Pippen. Now, granted, that's the great doctor's own opinion, right? I wonder what tarnished, well, he already said what tarnished LeBron's legacy, but when other people are talking, what tarnishes the legacy of these greats that you don't see them where everybody else ranks them? That's the question. What tarnishes a legacy? And right now, before we go any further, joined by the esteemed, the war-laden, the home from work guy. I'm sure he has a red cup sitting in front of him. If it's not red, it's purple, pink, blue, green, or clear. And it's got a little something in it. Ladies and gentlemen, the biggest Whitney Houston fan of all time.
Here we go. Oh, I want to dance with somebody. Yeah. With somebody that loves me, baby. What's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. How you feeling?
I'm good, man. They tried to get the butter from the duck today, baby.
I bet they did. Hey, I made it home before you from Ocean City. That says something. Question of the night is, what tarnishes a legacy? And talking about Dr. J saying that he had LeBron ranked 15 because he was a ring chaser. Okay. Why do everybody else have, like, when you talk top 5, everybody's going to have a different top 5, whether it's a different order, whether it's different people. Everybody has, if you talk top 3 point guards all time, everybody has, well, mostly everybody has Steph Curry in their top 3. I do not. Not because something's wrong with Steph or I don't like him. I got 3 point guards that are better than Steph. And that's Magic, Stockton, and Isaiah Thomas. Zeke. That Isaiah Thomas, not short Isaiah Thomas. But
you're not talking about Webster.
No. But you talk about the GOAT debate. I heard Gilbert Arenas say, well, LeBron ain't even past Kobe. But people don't even mention Kobe. Now that Kobe's passed on, his legacy has taken a step up in some circles. But before that, what was it that tarnished his legacy that made people not like him and not mention him in the all-time great category?
Well, it was easy. It was Colorado.
But the way he...
So it went Colorado, and then if you remember that the game that he calls Barkley after he commentates on the game and calls him selfish, that's like game 5 against Phoenix, where he doesn't take a shot in the fourth quarter. And I think that's when the Kobe is selfish narrative started running. So I'm glad you asked this question because I was in the car, and I remember we was going to talk about this. And I think the biggest key or the biggest factor in somebody's legacy is the narrative. It depends on like your narrative says a whole lot about you and about what's going on. So let's say early in LeBron's career, the joke was if you gave him $1 and asked for change, he'd only give you 3/4 because he couldn't give you 4. You know, the narrative with a player like a Kirk Cousins is, you know, he doesn't win the big game or he's not clutch. He's got to be something because he keeps his teams with 10 at least 10 wins, sometimes 11, and he's always in the playoffs. I'm not always in the playoffs because their defense sucks. So, but I mean, again, if you put him on this Washington team the last 6 years, there's definitely a playoff appearance, if not 2. But the narrative is what gets stuck in everybody's head. So, like, some people, the narrative is perfect example. Like, Eddie Jones is one of the best 2 guards in his era. It's not true. It's not true. But sometimes that's the narrative because he always made the All-Star game. But guys like Isaiah Ryder and those guys used to say, you know, he got a little love because he wore the purple and gold. Might be the case. But the narrative is the kicker.
Now, you said LeBron. I've seen so many people attack LeBron's character. I've seen them attack his play. Oh, well, Jordan never went this, and this in the finals. But then you flip it, and what they call them, bronze-sexuals.
Yeah.
They say, well, Jordan never did anything until Pippen got there. Well, here's the thing. I'm going to start with Michael Jordan because this is where I'm going to start. That's why I'm starting it because I want to start there. But people say, well, you look at Jordan, you think he only has 6 rings. He only played 6 years. You forget about the Wizards years. You forget about this. No. You have to watch the evolution of a player. You have to watch it. And, oh, well, they had this person and that person. It was him and Orlando Woolridge in the early years. They wound up trading Woolridge, I think, to the Lakers.
Probably so, yeah.
You had Sedale Threatt for a little bit. Sedale Threatt wound up going to Seattle. So he really didn't have the help. So he was trying to do it on his own. But what people don't realize is no coach came in and said, well, Michael, you need to trust your team until Phil Jackson got there. Doug Collins said it himself. Well, what was the play call in that last play? Get Mike the ball and get the fuck out the way.
But that was Doug's whole offense.
That was the whole offense. And the thing is, Tex Winter tried to install the triangle offense because he was an assistant coach on the bench. And if for those that think I'm lying, go read the Jordan rules. And the thing is, in the Jordan rules, they had a problem. MJ had a problem converting over to the triangle and what it came to be because he didn't embrace it because he couldn't have the ball in his hands. But when Phil Jackson said, let me move you to point guard, what was it, 10 out of 11 games, he had a triple-double. And he facilitated, and they won 9 out of the 11. So it was the evolution of a basketball player being able to trust his teammates. It wasn't just those 6 championships. It's what he went through. He had to go through Boston, who was running the league. He had to, and the Bulls weren't that great, but it's a team game. He had to go through Boston. He had to go through the Pistons. It was the Pistons' time. He didn't get a chance to knock off Boston, but he did knock off the Pistons. Then he ascended to the mountaintop and did a three-peat. That says a lot. Oh, well, the league was soft then. So you telling me Clyde Drexler, Charles Barkley, Magic was still in the league for a little bit. You telling me these guys were plumbers? They were trash? You telling me those 80s Bucks teams that had to fight too, but were something to be afraid of, were plumbers too? I hate that narrative And what I'm saying is, you try to tarnish his legacy before being young and growing in the league. I seen somebody say, well, at 21, LeBron had already had an all-star selection. MJ didn't have that. Well, MJ went to college. LeBron did not. He was a high school star. Then let's get to LeBron. You talk about tarnishing his legacy because of the finals in 2011, where I think he scored 8 points. You talk about him moving from team to team. If you were in that situation, you're carrying Cleveland to the finals on your back with Delonte West, a mop, a bucket of sour water, a garbage can, Anderson Varejao, and a dumpster. And you take them to the finals. But they don't do anything to build around you. Wouldn't you leave too if you had the opportunity? It ain't that much loyalty in the fucking world. But he gets ripped for the decision. How you gonna tarnish his legacy?
Well, let's also think about this. There's a group of reporters, there's a group of people that always want to be the smartest guy in the room. So they always want to find the next thing, or they want to be different from everybody else. They want to have a differing opinion. They want to be the person that is like, if something happens, they'll be like, oh, see, I told you. I was the only one in the room that had Magnum TA as the greatest wrestler in the early 80s. I was the only one. But, I mean, no matter how you slice it and dice it, that's it. It's like, it comes back to where we started this conversation off of, what I guess I started off with, where it's the mantra, it's how they talk about you. Think about Steve Nash and the D'Antonis. My narrative: D'Antoni can't coach.
He can coach in the regular season.
He can't coach.
He can coach in the regular season. That's about it. Let me ask you this. When you have somebody like a Chris Benoit, a O.J. Simpson, now we know automatically what tarnished both of these gentlemen's legacies.
R. Kelly.
Take it out of sports. R. Kelly. Hell, Gary Glitter, Jerry Lee Lewis.
Here we go.
Elvis Presley. Like, we keep going. But can you separate the misdeeds from the career? Are you able to separate the two and say, okay, what he did in his respective role or in his respective career is separate from what he did outside of it, which is pedophilia, child porn, statutory rape, and murdering of a spouse, allegedly. Can you separate
OJ?
Huh?
You said allegedly, so that must have been OJ.
If you want to go with that, okay.
I'm just saying, you said allegedly, so
allegedly.
Yeah, because we still don't have OJ did it.
Now, I'm gonna ask you a question that my cousin used to ask me all the time when I would say, "Yeah, this is facts. This is what happened." Were you there?
Mm-mm.
I wasn't either. So that's why I say allegedly.
I say allegedly just because I like fucking with people.
I say allegedly. I say the same thing about Chris Benoit because the thing is, it's too. I'm not gonna get into it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get into it. But allegedly, can you separate the running back, the wrestler, the singer, the icons from their misdeeds outside of their career bubble?
You know, that's a great question, and I know for me personally, there's certain all right. So let's take R. Kelly. Like, I will still bump R. Kelly. It has nothing to do with what he did. Is what he did in terms of my life. Like, there was a stretch where like certain CDs, a certain CD of his just kind of helped me deal with the emotions of losing a lot of people at the same time. So you can't tell me I can't listen to R. Kelly because you don't know my connection to him. My connection has nothing to do with the sex in the songs or anything like that. It's really because Like this dude was like not my therapist, but it was like it was therapeutic listening to music, and a lot of it was on this one CD. So yeah, I will still bump that one in particular. I might not bump everything else, but I'll bump that one because of the connection. In terms of OJ, I still think I will always list him in my running backs. I mean, I can't help what he did outside of football. You're asking me to judge a football player on football stuff. And that's how I look at it. I judge you in your arena. Were you good? Yes or no? I know what your stigmas are outside of that, but that didn't contribute to that arena that you built. I still think Benoit is one of the greatest technical wrestlers ever, but I also think he's a monster. I can have those two thoughts. Like that's the thing. I think our world tries to make everything clear cut. Like if you either like him all the way, or you don't like him at all. It's always black or white.
And it's crazy you say that. And what's going on, Ross? Glad you could join us tonight. Talking what tarnishes legacies. It's funny you say that about R. Kelly. Because everybody's like, oh, mute R. Kelly. And I was like, I told somebody on Twitter, I said, if you took every song that R. Kelly's ever performed, written, produced, anything, and took it off of every streaming platform, you know how much of your music is gone?
Let's not even talk about that. Let's talk about the Rick Springsteens with his underage song. Let's talk about like all these other artists that had these type of situations where they dated women under the legal age. And I'll say it that way, or I'll say they allegedly did because I wasn't there. Well, but these situations happen. You know, let's I mean, if we want to be real, I mean, there's a little girl named Aaliyah. I mean, hey, I'm not gonna say nothing else. I mean, R. Kelly was one, but there was another dude too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let's not see. That's why I think when you talk about this, sometimes it becomes a popularity contest, or because if you like that person, you'll make a way for that person to still be okay in your eyes.
Yeah. Because
if you don't, then you'll redirect the narrative to where you're comfortable.
If you look at it, I go back to OJ in '94. I was a big OJ fan because of the Naked Gun series. That's why I was an OJ fan. My cousin was a Buffalo Bills fan because he was 4 years old, and I seen OJ Simpson run. No, he said he was younger than that. He said it was right before OJ left Buffalo. He said I seen OJ Simpson run, and I was just like, I'm a Buffalo Bills fan. And he was like, he actually stopped liking the Bills after the whole double murder. And I said, you know, why? I said, OJ didn't do it. Well, you don't know that. And I said, okay. But even after that, I remember they wanted to take his bust out of the Hall of Fame. They wanted him removed from the Hall of Fame. And then in the civil trial, they took his Heisman Trophy. They took all this other stuff from him. And I was like, well, really and truthfully, taking personal possessions is one thing, but taking trophies that mean nothing, you can't get money for, but then they auctioned it off and got like a couple $100,000 for it. And I was like, yeah, I get it, but these are things that can't be replaced.
Well, that's because they were trying to break his will at that point. It became more about breaking him, the person, because they were coming from a broken place because their daughter was dead and he was the only person they could get to answer for her death. So they just was coming back to take everything they could from him because they felt like he took their everything from them.
Agreed. I'm going to take it back a little further. Some people call Elvis Presley the king of rock and roll. For me, it's Little Richard. Now, Elvis Presley is said to have met Priscilla Presley when she was 12 and he was 25. So he, quote unquote, groomed her into what he wanted, whether it was sex involved or not, but nobody talks about that. Now, separate that from me hearing Suspicious Minds. I love that song. I love Suspicious Minds. Elvis had some great songs. Was he wrong for what he did? Yeah, he was. But if you separate the two, but nobody, you can't tarnish his musical legacy for what he did outside, is what I'm saying. Because musically, R. Kelly's a genius. Elvis, genius. These are geniuses we're talking about. Michael Jackson, effing genius. But with all the allegations that
when you say stuff like that, that's why I like you. When you say stuff like that, Michael Jackson's a genius.
Yes, he is. How many people you know? And this is a story from Magic Johnson and Isaiah Thomas. He said, no. It's not supposed to sound like that. It's supposed to sound like this. And he could imitate any instrument and said, this is how I want you to sound. How many people you know can do that?
Hey, man, I keep telling people all the time, one of the greatest artists ever to walk this earth is Michael Jackson.
True.
He took Smokey Robinson song and made it the Jackson 5 song.
True indeed.
Whenever you go back to it, you like, oh yeah, Michael Jackson sang that. It was like, nah, Smokey sung that first. What?
Yeah.
Ah. But I mean, that's a whole nother show. A whole nother show.
We might have to pick up on that sometime.
Then he gave you Off the Wall. Then he gave you Thriller. Yeah, then he gave you Invincible. Man, I'm
gonna say something, and this gets a lot of hate when I say it. Thriller's a great album, but I always think Off the Wall was better.
That's because you are a gentleman and a scholar. That is all you are. You are a bright young. You know what? What's mama name again?
My mother's name is Dolores.
Yeah, Dolores done raised a smart little boy. Well, I tell you, boy, she done raised you right.
Oh my goodness! But I mean, that's just me. That's me. But bringing it back to sports, it seems like people try to find the smallest things to tarnish one's legacy.
But it's because I think it's also back to that fact. Like, think about those MVP years with a guy like Shaq, a guy like Kobe, and like Steve Nash wins the MVP. Years with when Michael was the most dominant player in the league, but somehow like they give a MVP to Barkley. You know, they end up having to take care of guys because they built this narrative. Embiid's MVP last year, they built the platform to get him the MVP for us, essentially.
That's true.
They questioned it, and then all of a sudden, the last 2 months, it became a campaign. It became a thing that on every sports show, they talked about Embiid as the MVP, and he wasn't in the conversation at first. So now we end up bringing this campaign along to make this happen.
But you know what's crazy? If you look at the MVP races of all time, some MVP races you like, well, how did so-and-so win the MVP?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna you already know where I'm going with it. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to put the graphic. You know what I'm talking about.
Go ahead, put the graphic up, man. Go ahead.
And now you want to put but see, here's the thing. I'm not taking anything away from the late, great Bill Russell.
It is. Here you go. Every time we talk about MVPs, 1962 MVP comes up.
However, Oscar had a triple-double. He had 30, 12, and 11.
Why can't we talk about MVPs without this coming up every time?
Because this is one of the greatest MVP races of all time. You gotta give it to him.
There's not what's second?
Second?
I just get tired of every time we talk about the MVP. You gotta pull 1962. I'm sorry.
That's the greatest MVP race of all time in the NBA.
Oh man!
And if you want to say what's second, I think you would have to go with possibly 93.
Okay.
Where Barkley won.
Okay.
But I thought Barkley winning in 93 was justified.
Okay.
Not because
but I say that because like we have this society where we get tired of seeing the same teams win, the same people win.
You get burned out.
It's like you have to, they almost like force feed or what's the word I want to look for? Like it's shoehorn. They almost want to shoehorn in somebody else.
Mm. And
so like everybody think about the NCAA tournament. Everybody loves the NCAA the first 2 weeks of the tournament. Let that Final Four be like it was last year. Them TVs ain't turning on like they used to. They still, people deep down inside still want to see Carolina, Kansas, Duke, and those teams. They want to see the fun to get to it, but at the end, they still want to end up with the Blue Bloods. Like they fool themselves until it gets time to turn the TV on.
Agreed. But here's the problem. It gets stale after a while. When you see, like, I stopped watching the finals religiously. You know, seeing LeBron and what he went through 9 straight finals.
Hold up, aren't you a Yankees fan?
Yeah.
Y'all got 27 titles, and you get tired of seeing somebody win a championship.
But we didn't win every year. We didn't win every single year. We had 2 years back to back. Then we might take a year off and win 2 years.
Okay.
It's not like we won 27 in a row. It gets old.
Oh, just an update because I'm watching the game. Tampa Bay's 4-0 in the bottom of the fourth inning. Just want to give you an update.
Who they playing?
They're playing the Yankees.
Of course you would bring
that up.
I
just want to give you an update because we're on the subject. Why would I just bring up the score out of the blue?
Because
we started talking about the Yankees.
Because we got gobstopped the other night by Baltimore. We got gobstopped. Forget getting curved. We got gobstopped.
Yeah, Baltimore scored like 7 in the first inning before they got the first out. I didn't want to bring that up. See, I didn't even bring it up. I was being nice to you.
It's trauma, man. What do you want me to do?
I'm sorry.
Shit, I'm hurt. But if you look at Karl Malone's another one. Before, it was Tim Duncan. When Karl Malone was coming down to, he was winding down, he was in the twilight of his career. Everybody knew off break, Karl Malone's the greatest power forward of all time. I've heard many people say it. Many people agree with me. Tim Duncan surpassed him, but Karl Malone moved down to number 2. What happened? Not even post-career. What happened in the twilight of his career to start tarnishing his legacy? Karl Malone has 2 kids that he didn't take care of. 2 twins, Cheryl and Daryl Ford. One played in the NFL. One became a WNBA legend. He has another child that he had by a 13-year-old when he was in college. You know, does this tarnish them? Were they wrong? Yes. Does it tarnish his legacy on the basketball court? It should not. If he didn't have these babies and raise these babies on the basketball court, or just ignore these kids while they were on the basketball court, I can see that. But what he does in his personal life, you know, social media gives you a window into everybody's personal life now. At that time, we didn't have all that. And you got people talking about, well, he not even top 5 because of something that you don't even know the full story of. You don't know the full extent.
Well, he's easily 3 for me.
I got him at 2. Who's your number 2? Dirk?
Nah.
PG?
No.
Who?
I can't say his name. He plays for the Spurs. He wears 21.
He's your number 2?
He plays for Spurs.
Who's your number 1?
He wears 21 also. Minnesota.
You got KG. Oh, wow.
Now,
wow.
Full disclosure, probably 98.99999999999% of that is personal. Because every time I say it, I won't say his name anymore.
I don't want to ever hear you say nothing about me having John Stockton as number 1 or number 2, depending on how my mood my given day at point guard. I don't want to ever hear you say nothing.
Why?
You got Kevin Garnett over Timmy and the mailman.
Yeah. KG KG. I mean, we act like KG's career was like some garbage. Like,
Oh no, it wasn't.
nah, his only problem is he played with Wally Zerbiak.
He couldn't stand it. He couldn't stand
Wally Zerbiak, the disappearing man, the invisible man, whatever you want to call him. When the playoffs show up, somebody calls out sick. Wally Zerbiak.
Okay. Let me
You're getting in my narratives now.
I got you. Let me ask you this, and then we'll jump back because I had I know you got a difference of opinion. But as far as tarnished legacies, what's one thing that can tarnish a legacy? Indubitably, without a shadow of a doubt, the legacy's automatically tarnished.
God, that's a great question. And I don't know how to answer because I want to answer it one way. So I'm gonna answer it a way, and you may be able to stay with me with this. I think it depends on your fandom when the moment happens. So, perfect example. I mean, so I have you always talk about my Eddie Jones. But as a fan, there are moments for me where I felt like he directly let us down. So that tarnished his legacy for me. And I think every fan has that moment. Like there's Wally Zerbiak's another one. Peja Stojakovic in the playoffs. Oh, when they called that play for Peja, I'm in a bar. It's me and like 10 other Lakers fans. And when Peja gets the ball, I'm like, we win. We good. He shoots the air ball. We win. Boom. Story ended. But it's I think it comes to sometimes how we see the player through our lenses. That's how we determine how we view that player.
When Kobe shot those 2 air balls in Utah, right?
I called him every name under the sun, but it's God-given. Because at that time, I wasn't. Kobe had. See, here's the thing. Kobe wasn't my guy then. So that playoff run in '99, I'm like, yo, this dude's special. At first, he was the McDonald's guy. I called him the anti-Iverson. Like they built up this character of Kobe, of all this wholesomeness and two-parent family. He speaks 7 languages or 8 languages. He was all good. He was the cat's meow. I never forget what's the I don't want to call him Johnny Rogers, but the Lakers radio guy or TV guy.
Oh, radio guy was Chick Hearn.
Who's the TV guy? You remember?
No, not back then.
One of whoever it was, one of them like interviews Kobe and talks about like how white his teeth are, like when he's like 20 or whatever. Because it's like when they start giving Kobe the opportunity to play. I tell anybody the only Kobe stopper in the world is Dale Harris.
That's true. Everybody thought it was Ruben Patterson.
Yeah, see, those are narratives. And that's how we get there. Like, there's probably some player that you don't like that I probably do like. And it's because in some game, whether you had money on it or whether you just saw something, it changed your perspective on that player. You know what I'm saying?
But now, you talk about Kobe wasn't your guy when he shot the 2 air balls. You want to know something? You know when Kobe became my guy?
But I respected him for taking those 2 air balls.
Yeah.
I was mad, but see, that's the other part. So that there in turns comes back to the Eddie Jones part of this. Why is the young buck taking the shots and not the guys that are on this team that are making all-stars? Where's my Nick Van Exel? Where's my Eddie Jones? So that became my narrative and part of the reason why I was ready for them to go.
Mm. Now, Kobe was my guy. Kobe became my guy instantly before he got drafted. He was my guy when he took Brandy to the prom.
Okay.
I'm a big Brandy fan. Best Friend by Brandy. If you want to see me just vibe out and just chill, play Best Friend. It's one of my favorite Brandy songs, other than Full Moon, the Precision Mix with Fat Joe, the remix.
This is the remix.
But you know what, Kobe stopped being my guy?
Oh gosh,
When
blasphemous.
yeah, he stopped being my guy. I say in 2001. When they played the six, they ran through the playoffs. Nobody was beating them, and I was like, you're a front runner. I can't like you anymore. And I had a love-hate relationship, but secretly I rooted for him, but he couldn't be my guy anymore because now you ascended to the top of the mountain.
So you was with him in 2000 when he gave you the push down and told Phil and them to chill against Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
But it was when they rolled through the play, and I think that 2000, 2001, that was 2000, 2001. I think that team was one of the best Laker teams, probably one of the best teams of all time. I put them in the same breath with the 86 Celtics and the 96 Bulls. 96 Bulls first.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
That's how good that team was.
Nah, they wasn't that good.
Shit. That team was fucking great. And I know you're being sarcastic. That team, that was a really, really good team. It was put together with the right veteran leadership and all of that. Now, Kobe, of course, off the court, Kobe was always my guy. Especially when he did the remix with Brian McKnight, the Hold Me remix.
Yeah.
Dude, I went out and bought the Anytime CD because I wanted that song. That's the song I wanted.
That's another conversation. The Brian McKnight CD collection.
I got plenty of that. I got every CD Brian McKnight has ever released. I'm waiting for him to sing the daggone Alphabet and the Telephone Book, and I'll buy both of those too. I'm just a big Brian McKnight fan. Always have been.
So all right. So it's amazing how Tuesday night always becomes music night. But so give me the list of his, because I know where I dropped off the Brian McKnight train in terms of listening to his CDs, like him being a must buy. I think it was Anytime was the third, or was Anytime fourth?
Hold on, I gotta remember. I'm old. I can't remember all of them.
Nah, you good, because I know you're the historian. That's the only reason I'm asking.
It was.
So I think back at
third.
Okay, then back at one is 4.
Yeah, back at one was 4.
That's when I dropped.
What?
After back at one, I was like,
no, because after
he's not a must buy. He's a I will buy, but he's not a must buy. So like there's certain CDs that like the day they come out, I gotta buy it. Like there's this. All right, so infamous story. I used to work nights not nights, but when I was working at Enterprise, I was stationed in Dulles Airport. So we would leave some nights at 11:30. So that would be because it was on a Monday night. So 11:30 Monday, you know what happens at 12? CDs drop. And if you get there, even if you get there a little early, sometimes they're like, oh, what you here for? And you'll get it. So Music Soul Child, Just Listen. I think that was his second album at that time. Because it's got the record as the CD cover. So the CD, the actual CD, looks like a record.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, I was driving my Maxima. Boom. Throw the music joint in. First song is, I forget what comes up, but it's like the first song. I was like, I took my keys out, put my keys in my pocket, walked right back in to, I think it was Sam Goody or whatever it was in Tyson's Corner. Said, I'll take one more of those. Because I had one for the car and one for the house.
Oh my goodness.
One for the car, one for the house. Because it wasn't leaving, and that's how I am. Like sometimes I'll get a CD and I'll listen to that CD or that song, that set for like months. And like nothing, like something has to come in. It's almost like a WWE fight or like King of the Hill. Like something has to take that off the mountaintop. I had a whole summer of J. Cole, man. A whole summer of that Raheem Devon. What's the second one with the lounge chair with Woman, Bob, all that.
I can see it right now.
I see him sitting on the joint because I know the CD cover.
Mm-hmm.
Because Josh used to love Woman. my kid, yo, he can go in the house eating some stuff, boy.
Let me tell you this. See, Brian McKnight got me with One Last Cry. That song came out when I was in the 6th going to the 7th grade.
So wasn't that wasn't One Last Cry wasn't what he sung to Tisha Campbell during that Martin episode?
No, he sung
Still in Love?
Still in Love, that's what it was. And I watched Brian McKnight perform on an award show. And the first time I saw him, I was like, yeah, that's my guy. You talk about guy, that's my guy.
Welcome to the Tuesday Night Flight, where music is love and love is music. We are your DJs, the Midnight Rider and the big guy KG. But we're going to talk music to you all night long. I'm sorry, man.
That's pretty much how I go. But Brian McKnight always releases either a song or a CD at the most
random point.
No, it's like the most opportune time. It's like he releases a CD and it tells my feelings. Like Anytime came out in 97. I didn't buy it until I think like 2000 because I went out. I bought Back at One first, and then I bought Anytime.
Okay.
You know, they were still releasing cuts off of Anytime by that time.
Right.
So I went and bought that. I bought Back at One. But Back at One, because of the song Back at One, was what I was going through at the time. And I bought that, and I was like, okay, where he going to go from here? Then this motherfucker waits till 2001, and he drops Superhero. Superhero had Love of My Life on it. Took me a minute to grow on it. I was like, that sounds like a Prince song. But then it took it a minute to grow on it. And I understood.
See, that's the problem I have. Like, if that song doesn't grab that first listen, if it ain't there, I ain't coming back to it. And then this is how it happens, because I forget what song it is. But there's a song that, like, when I first heard it, it was a no for me. Oh, Anthony Hamilton, Coming From Where I'm From.
What?
Because I never caught it from the beginning. So this is how I always would come in the house and the video be on, and this dude's in like the cabin, and like I catch the middle, but I'm in the middle of doing stuff, so I never catch the whole song. So I was like, man, this dude crazy, man. That boy lunching. So then I happened to be in the car going to work, and I caught the whole joint, and that was like, yeah, this is the truth. We gonna go over here, get that CD and make it happen. Well, I don't even know if I was buying CDs at the time. Yeah, I bought that joint. It's been heavy rotation, baby.
See, Brian McKnight, when he dropped,
hold on. Now, because you're such a connoisseur of even sports talk, but also music. So there's Eric Roberson that's done Superstar.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Anthony Hamilton version. Who does it better?
Well, you also had a Ruben Studdard version as well.
I was limited to those two because I wanted to be a head-to-head. But if you want to throw Ruben in, I apologize for 2004.
If you talk about the song Superstar,
yes.
If I had to choose, I'm gonna choose Ruben.
Okay.
It's just he put the flair on it, but I love it.
No.
That's that outside of Luther, and I'm a big Luther fan. As you can see, when we
Hey.
Side note, the Midnight Rider made a post on Facebook about Luther. I took it personal. He had to call me and call the dogs off.
Hey.
I don't play that.
Yeah, he had Luther the shiny jacket with 4 of the dudes. I was like, what the hell is this?
But Brian McKnight just straight bangers. What's my name? Yeah. You said it. What's my name?
All right, so here's my so see, this is the writer in me, but my joint is I know the lyrics. When Lucy and Linus What is it? When Lucy and Linus sent the ground. How? I think that is Still in Love, isn't it?
No, I don't think so.
Nah. Hold on. I gotta find this, but go ahead, keep going, man. I don't know where we at this point in the show. I don't know if we even still on. We on the show topics at all.
But Used to Be My Girl and Find Myself in You, like the Used to Be My Girl, man. That was on 10. What's My Name? Find Myself in You and Used to Be My Girl used to always they were all on the same CD. I couldn't stop, man. I was like, I listen to anything that Brian McKnight does. Like, I asked my wife, I was like, I really want to pay like $15,000 to have Brian McKnight sing at our wedding. Like, I told her that. She was like, no. He can send a telegram or something, but no. And don't get me started on Raheem DeVaughn. No, we ain't gonna start there.
It's Still in Love.
It is?
Yeah. Because it's like how Snoopy never left the ground. Lucy and Linus, like, I don't know, played around, whatever. But I'm still in love. Yeah, yo, dog. Lyrically, I love this joint. Like, I will sit down and yeah.
And you were talking, the Raheem DeVaughn album you talking about was Love Behind the Melody.
Yes, love. But dog, all right. So here we go. Your boy gets into these moments where I just get in the wormholes with artists, and I messed around and listened to. So like my biggest song on the one album was Ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But then I jumped. I don't know what I was listening. I just listened to the rest of that CD. Oh Jesus Christ, baby! Lord have mercy. Woo, Hercules. That's so good, boy. That boy right. That boy can rap. That's all I'm saying.
I'm gonna put it to you like this: you want a Raheem DeVaughn joint that really, really go? You gotta go.
Welcome to Music Talk, featuring the Big Guy KG. I'm the Midnight Rider. Music Talk Tuesdays at the end of the Tuesday night flight.
I've talked about this song.
Oh, is this the one with your wife?
It's just one of them. We got many songs.
No, the one that she comes out the room when you start talking about it.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, love you.
Forever. If the crime was loving you.
There it is.
And it wouldn't even really matter if the sky was falling too. Don't run off on me now, woman.
Stop it.
Like that song right there, I was where was I at? I was riding somewhere and I was way away from home. I had been away from home for a while. And I played that song and I immediately called and I was like, yeah. I knew it was official before. I can't live without you.
Yeah, there it is, baby.
I can't. I knew. Like when that song plays, I can't have her walk into a room because she doesn't walk into a room anymore. She floats into the room, but she floats when she walks anyway.
She sashays.
Yeah.
Yo, fucking nationals.
But we talking about legacies. We done talked about daggone music, man. We done went all over the place.
So, I gotta bring up a personal favorite. You know what? I'm not gonna go with her because that's gonna start a whole longer conversation. I'm gonna go with the one in between. NDR.
Jill Scott.
So what?
You was great to go with Jill Scott, wasn't you?
No, heck no. I can't. No.
Okay.
No. So it's like musically is Jill Scott just moving into the 2 spot is her. Because I can play her and oh man. On request, hey, you need a poem? I got you, dog. What you need? I got you. Let me just throw in this her. Let me throw in this focus. 3, Amel LaRue.
I give you that.
I love me some Amel LaRue.
Underrated.
After that, it becomes jumbled up because I can take I like a little Jasmine Sullivan because that joint, she got that one that just hit the heart hard. That In Love with Another Man. Oh, that shit just whoa, oh, talk about heartache. Like I felt bad for the dude. Like, she did you like that?
No, I'm gonna put it this way.
That bitch ain't shit. That bitch
I
ain't
got
shit.
Jill Scott.
Uh-huh.
But after Jill Scott,
oh, hold on. I'm tripping.
Aaliyah.
Who?
Aaliyah.
Oh, no. My 2 is, I forgot my number 2. My real 2 is Erykah Badu. Because she got 3 of the greatest. There's 3 songs that in her first 3 CDs that are, oh my God. Green Eyes, 20 feet tall. Green Eyes, 20 feet tall. If you don't know what those are, just go ahead and do yourself a favor. Download it, burn the CD, record it on the radio, whatever you want to do. Yeah, they got to get some play, baby. I think I finally got some energy because I'm delirious from work and I'm hungry.
I ain't gonna keep you too much longer.
Nah, dog. If we talking music, dog, I can stay. We can do a 2-hour show. We can set the record, bro.
See, the thing is, somebody online, I had to get offline because he was like, let's be honest. Only reason why y'all got Aaliyah up there in your category, she couldn't sing, she was average at best, is because she died. I said, whoa. Time out. That's your take. You allowed to have your opinion. Don't get fucked up.
You're violent.
When it comes to Aaliyah, Jill Scott, and Luther Vandross, yes, I am very violent.
Oh, good, brother.
I am. But Aaliyah's last album, the Red album, the Aaliyah album, she had so much range on that album. If you've never listened to the lyrics of I Can Be, and I've listened to that album forward, backward, sideways, don't matter. Listen to the lyrics of I Can Be. Basically, she said, I can be the other woman in your life. What? Little cute Aaliyah? Talking about being the other woman? Like, she matured so much.
Is that built under the caveat? Like, so Dwayne has a song where he's like, I'm cheating on my girl with my girl.
Yeah. No, this wasn't that. This was is under the, yeah, you got your girl, but I can be the other one.
Okay. See, Dwayne was more under,
yeah.
His girl was also his other girl because she had this other mode that she get into.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, see, if you, speaking of Dwele, you got to listen to the joint with Dim the Lights with him and Raheem DeVaughn.
Bruh, I can walk into the room and not know what was playing, and if I hear the right chord, I'm like, oh, that's Dwele.
Yeah,
like that's how much he like. I don't know why, I don't know what it is, but yeah. Oh, hold on, I am. Yo, Canada's finest. I gotta give some love to Canada's finest. Jokers don't know, but Glenn Lewis, baby. Don't you forget it. If you've ever in the 2000s been in my car listening to some R&B, you know Glenn Lewis is coming on. And one of my new favorite male artists is PJ Morton. People don't give PJ Morton the love that PJ Morton deserves. PJ Morton will feed your soul, and then he'll give you some soul music to dance to, and then he'll give you something to talk to your woman to. PJ Morton, baby. I'm sorry.
See? Now she can walk down the hall. If she walk down the hall, man, she'll tell you she gonna float.
She got the clouds underneath her.
Look, I just got that look. I'm gonna say this, then I'm gonna get up out of here. If you got the Spotify, I got a playlist.
Oh, I got one too.
This particular playlist is 52 hours and 41 minutes long and counting.
Right, I don't know about that. I don't think I've selected that much music on it. So mine is called I got one playlist called Black Socks and Sandals.
Black Socks and Sandals. Okay.
Yep. And it's exactly what you know what it is.
Cookout music. Get
you some Ripple. You know what I'm saying? It's It's the stylistics, it's Blue Magic. It's if it's an old group, they in there. Hold on, because this is my song this weekend. And then I'm gonna let you go and do what you gotta do. But it's a young man that kind of fell off the map. I think it happened after he got naked and did his song, How Does It Feel? But before then, he had this song by D'Angelo. It's called Shit Damn Motherfucker.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I know that's right. There's a collection plate to it. She know what I'm talking about. Let the church say amen, brother.
We can do this all
Why? The both of you, butterball naked. Why? The both of you laying in my bed. What? Why? The both of you? Man, that joint right there. Like D'Angelo, that
so much.
Say that again. Yes. Why y'all bleeding so much? Exactly. Woo!
Well, I'll say this particular playlist. I got several playlists, but this particular playlist is called Midnight Magic.
Okay.
And Midnight Magic is spelled like me, Magic.
Okay.
So I got that. And then that's my.
Give me the two headliners. Give me the headliners.
It's a little Tina Marie on there.
Yo, man, that's a gangster. Tina Marie she's probably how I know. I'll put it like this. I knew my sister was cleaning her house when I hear Tina Marie.
Yeah,
my niece listens to Tina Marie, and I'm like, damn, you just like your mama, because she'll start cooking and doing her and Tina Marie on. I'd be like, yeah. Oh yep. Man, but Tina Marie that's a bad.
Yes, and she got your what I like to call your after 7 o'clock music.
Mm-hmm.
She got music that'll get you through the day too. Square big.
Yes. Talk about it, brother.
Love it.
Yes, indeed.
Money. Never did a thing. Bin.
Yes, indeed.
But I'm a Rick James fan, so of course I'm gonna love me some Tina Marie. This playlist starts off Moments in Love by the Art of Noise. That's the only way I can start this playlist off.
Okay.
Because if you old enough and you remember,
I know
that joint. Slow Jams. It was Sex Talk and Slow Jams.
Right.
That's what they started off with every night at 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, that's the only way I can start my shit off. But I got a little Simply Red on there, some Enchantment, some Cameo, some Atlantic Starr, some Lenny Williams. Of course, I got Levert.
I had to tell Josh, like, one of the greatest love songs of all time. If you ever got begged for your woman back, it's Lenny Williams.
I got this is.
I made him listen to it. He listened to it on repeat for like the last 10 minutes of the ride home. Like, yeah, dog, you gotta understand this. This pain right here, boy.
I was matter of fact, Dwayne's mom. Me and her was home. I was at her house, and I was flipping through the channels, and Lenny Williams was on TV. She was walking by. She said, "Oh, wait, put it back." And she sat. It was a live concert. She sat there. She watched that whole entire live concert. I couldn't say nothing. What could I say?
Hey, Lenny,
not a thing I can say. But I got some Phyllis Hyman on there, some Miles J.
Phyllis Hyman. That's another. You know what? That's just a gem that man. I don't know, man. Like Phyllis Hyman, I don't know if she's just a victim of her time, victim of her early death, but she definitely doesn't get the love that she deserves.
Agreed.
Maybe it's an era. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I got some Gerald Levert on there. Of course, the OJs. See, I'm old school OJs. You tell a woman straight up, I just can't understand it. But wait for me. What I see in you. Because every time you talk of leaving me, I get so shook up. Don't know what to do. God damn it. You ain't never heard You Got Your Hooks in Me. Ain't nothing there for you. Let's wrap this thing up, man. Let me ask you this.
This is Music Talk with the big guy KG and the Midnight Rider. Tuesday night flight took a turn left and became Music Night Flight.
Yeah, it sure enough did.
Yeah.
In the opening, I talked about
Yes. I saw a piece open. Let's go.
the petition for the name to be changed back to the Redskins. While we in the wrap up segment, your thoughts on that?
I feel like this is very tone deaf. Like you're trying to bring back something that shouldn't be brought back. I understand the love for the name Redskins. I love Redskins. We bled, ate, sweat, turned away invitations to things because of the Redskins. Like the Redskins, like I literally knew I was gonna break up with this girl because she wanted to have a let's talk moment during what was that 2005, the last game of the season against Philadelphia. Like right before the game started, she was like, "Oh, let's talk." I'm like, what are we talking about? The Redskins about to come on. I don't care about that. What's more important? The Redskins. You ain't say that. Yeah, it's the Redskins, boo. Sorry, but yeah. So, but I think like the name has ran its course, and you gotta have some semblance respect. And the thing that I'm disappointed in is like people keep saying, "Oh, they keep trying to dictate the narrative." Oh, we know these Native Americans that aren't offended by it, but what about the ones that are? Like you gotta like there's gotta be some pulse of, and this is how I know part of the problem for real is a Native American dollar doesn't mean shit to the U.S. economy. Because they could have shut, if they had any kind of impact, any kind of unity to make that an impact on the American economy, these names would have disappeared a long time ago. But because they don't, you're allowed to flirt with them as long as you can until somebody actually gets too offended and they force your hand to make a change. So what I feel like there's 20,000, 25,000 people that's setting themselves up for disappointment because it just can't go back. It shouldn't go back to that name. Like you have to have some respect to the people. I mean, shoot, the Indians. Indians isn't even the derogatory term, but they changed that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So even without the specter of racial slur or overtones, the Indians changed their name because they just wanted to move away from it. See, what I feel like, and I'm gonna say it this way because this is how it sounds to me, is there's a group, there's fans that are so entitled and feel so like they feel like disrespected because they had to change the name, that they're carrying out this mission of trying to keep the name or get the name back, and they're just being ignorant to the feelings of others. And like some people say, like sometimes if a word is offensive to somebody, then it's offensive. So let's stop trying to count the 13,000 Indians that you do know or that you talk to, because you can get to them. Like, what about the others? What about other people? Like, this word is too. It's just something we should be at a point in time now where we should be able to walk away from this word, like in our lexicon. We should just go ahead and change our nomenclature to something that is more respectable. And the only reason Commanders really fell flat, A, was the presentation, but B, it's because it wasn't Redskins. And no matter what name you chose, I don't even think if Redwoods was chosen that it would have been met with open arms. I truly don't. I truly do not think. Like, I think Red Wolves would have had its fans, but there still would have been the large majority of the people that still want to refer to this team as the Redskins. Those 20,000 people that signed that petition are also the same 20,000 people that don't want to stop calling this team the Redskins. They want to call this team Redskins, and nothing else. And I think the football team is a god-awful name. Because I need a now talking about something. I don't care what it is. And it's the Commanders. Does it ring? No. But it's new.
I think
I'm not mad at it. I mean, I just wanted a name. So if they go 11-5 or 11-6 because of 17 games. Do you think we're gonna have are we gonna be talking about the name Commanders? Or everybody going, let me see, what's that thing they do? I think it's a thing where you put your left hand up and it says, "Who are we? Commanders. Like, yeah. Like, I think people gotta give it time and let it grow. Like, you can't, like, a plant doesn't go in the ground and become a long stem rose the next day. Like, you gotta let it grow. You gotta water it, let it marinate. And I think that's part of what this name needs to do. And I'm not a big proponent of Josh and them change the name. I mean, and like I said before, I think the name changes at one point in time only. It's you unveil the new stadium, you open those doors, and when you go in those doors of that new stadium, like before that even happens, it's all right. It's I don't know. It's weeks before the season starts, or probably you gotta do it earlier than that. So before the draft, like in March or February, there's a video, and I'm talking about there's the sun, there's that desert that I was talking about. There's these cars coming up over the desert. You know what I'm saying? All you see is like burgundy and gold, burgundy and gold, burgundy and gold. You know what I'm saying? And it's like heading over the horizon. No, we've God, here we go. We've been in the darkness for far too long after this Snyder era. Now we open up on the horizon to something new. Bridging out, giving hope to lost hope. Giving balance to the world again. Making our team DC's team again. Here we are, your new team, the Washington whatevers. And like you get those choppers coming through and boom. It's almost like if you redid the Rock's WrestleMania entrance at that WrestleMania, where he was like Hollywood, kind of like something like that. I would do something like that and then just drop the team name out off of that.
I like that.
And you get this crescendo, and then all of a sudden the screen goes black, and then almost like a Shinsuke Nakamura, where his music goes that, and when that brand comes up, you just bring up the team name, and then all of a sudden it's like 3 players in the New Jerseys.
Unveil everything all at once.
Do it right then and there. Yeah. Don't even talk about it. There's zero discussion. There may be focus groups in the background. Like we're thinking about it. We don't know for sure. But never give in to saying that's what we're doing. And just drop the rebrand in our laps. And if you do it like that, I promise you, it's going to land.
All right, quickly. Mark Jackson released by ESPN. Good move or bad move? Honestly,
I mean, it's 6 in one hand, half dozen the other. I mean, I think sometimes you have to. That booth, I think, was together for 12 to 15 years, maybe longer.
No, because Mark Jackson was just coaching. He was just coaching Golden State not too long ago.
There's about 10 years with that booth.
I think 10 years. I think it's been 10 years.
So for me, I think sometimes it's good to change the voices up. So I'm okay with Mark. Like if he stays with them, he goes down to he gets the middle of the day, the game. Like so, you know how it goes. Christmas Day, there's the 12, like the Knicks against somebody. The 3 is normally like, maybe the Lakers against somebody because you want to see that game, or the Clippers against somebody. That game right there, the 3:00 on Christmas, is now the Mark Jackson game. Like Mark Jackson's the middle guy. He's bridging the gap between the early game and the main event.
I take that back. Take that back. Because right after he retired in 2004, he was working for ESPN alongside Brain and Gundy. Then in 2011, he took off 3 years, 11, 12, 4 years, 11, 12, 13, 14, to go coach the Golden State Warriors. Then he came back.
Yeah, so they had
It's been about 15 years.
Yeah, they had a 15 or 16-year run. So like, at a certain point, I mean, especially with what ESPN's got going on, it makes sense. I mean, there's certain people that they want to stick in their jobs, the Lee Corsos, like certain stalwarts of certain shows. But even now, Lee Corso has a very limited role on the college game day. So, and I mean, really, he's really there because of the
headgear.
Yeah, the headgear.
Yeah. And what's crazy is I know Lee Corso's getting old, just like I know Dickie V is getting old, and I say Dickie V get well soon. You got to start going younger and moving on from some of the older guys so they can.
But it's also, we got to give. I mean, and I love, and I know for you, you're the historian. You're the guy that, like, if you couldn't change certain things, like you wouldn't change certain things in this world. And I know this booth meant a lot to you, but I think of it as you got to give the next, because we're actually in the midst of transitioning generations of basketball teams or players, I should say. So we're starting to lose our Chris Pauls, Carmelo Anthony's, LeBron James, those guys. And that was the story of a certain legacy. And I think that Breen, Mark Jackson, and Van Gundy told the story of that generation. Now we're starting a new generation, and I think we need to get whoever the next part or the next people are. Now, Breen's probably going to stay around because Breen is Breen, and you can't just take out the play-by-play person. But you can always change the dynamics around them. And I think that's what it is. You got to give the next generation their voice.
That's true. That's true. I ain't gotta like it, but it's true.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. I mean, think about it. We grew up with Musburger, Irv Cross. That was our morning show on Sunday. Then it became JB and those guys on Fox. And then depending on your choice, it became either the ESPN version or the NFL Network. Me personally, I'm an NFL Network morning show guy. So I love Mooch. I love Michael Irvin. I love, that whole group.
I'm a Fox guy.
Yeah. See, I can't. Fox got 800 dudes sitting on one stage. I just can't do it. I'm done.
But that's because I enjoy Terry Bradshaw. I enjoy Jimmy Johnson and Howie. I've been watching them for years. And Don't get me wrong, I got nothing wrong with CBS. I just prefer Fox. I've always been a Fox person anyway. Because that's where Madden was. Anywhere Madden was, that's where I was.
So I prefer NFL Network also because the tunnel. I love that joint right before the game start. That's my hype. Going to Indianapolis and they are coming out of the tunnel. Sorry.
Well, we done been all around the mulberry bush and everything else in between. We talked about Washington's potential name change and a petition. We talked about Mark Jackson being released. We talked about legacies. Then we talked heavily about music. So hopefully
if you can't find something that you liked in this show tonight, you got problems. You need to go ahead and call Jesus, say some prayers, do some Hail Marys or something, because something wrong with your soul. You need to get right with life in the Lord.
I think we need to call this the buffet.
There it is.
The Tuesday night flight buffet.
The Golden Corral of the Tuesday night flight.
Because we talked about a little bit of everything. Put a little bit on your plate. Get your little something. But that's how we did it. So that guy, wrong side. That guy is the Midnight Rider. I'm the big guy, KG. Y'all know we do, man. We ain't doing no overtime. We going home. It's time for him to eat, and I'm ready to eat too. We don't do no overtime, y'all. We are out of here. Peace.